I get it, you're staring at a wall of specs, scrolling through endless best monitor lists, and the thought that you might waste a good chunk of cash on something that ends up gathering dust is nagging at you. You've probably heard the hype about ultra-wide gaming screens, but you're also wondering if that extra real estate actually translates into a day-to-day advantage or just an eye-watering price tag. You want to know whether the ASUS Display XG49VQ will genuinely improve your workflow or gaming sessions, or if it's just a flashy piece of glass that looks great in a showroom. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break it down the way I would if I were setting up a home office that doubles as a weekend gaming rig. First off, the XG49VQ is a 49-inch curved panel that essentially fuses two 27-inch monitors into one seamless canvas. That 32:9 aspect ratio means you get the horizontal stretch of a dual-monitor setup without the bezel gap, and the 1800R curvature is designed to keep the entire screen within a comfortable viewing angle. In practice, this translates to fewer head turns when you're scrolling through spreadsheets, editing video timelines, or tracking opponents in a racing sim. I've seen people set up their desks with just this one monitor and a single graphics card, and they report a cleaner, less cluttered workspace. If you're a gamer, the most immediate benefit is the field of view. Titles that support ultra-wide resolutions, think flight simulators, racing games, or open-world shooters, let you see more of the environment without having to pan the camera manually. That can be a real tactical edge. In a flight sim, spotting a distant waypoint earlier can mean the difference between a smooth landing and a crash. The panel's refresh rate, which sits comfortably above 100 Hz, pairs well with modern GPUs, delivering smoother motion and less motion blur during fast-paced action. The adaptive sync technology built into the display helps eliminate screen tearing, so you get a fluid visual experience without the jitter you might notice on a standard 60 Hz panel. On the productivity side, the extra horizontal space is a boon for multitaskers. Imagine having an email client, a web browser, and a spreadsheet all visible at once without constantly alt-tabbing. Video editors love the wide timeline view. You can see more of your clip sequence without zooming in and out. The curvature helps keep your eyes at a more consistent distance from the screen, reducing the strain that can come from squinting at the edges of a flat ultra-wide panel. In real-world testing, people who spend hours in front of the monitor note that the natural curve reduces the need to swivel their neck, which can feel noticeably more comfortable over a full workday. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. The XG49VQ's resolution is 3840x1080. That's a lot of pixels horizontally, but because the vertical count stays at 1080, the pixel density isn't as crisp as a 4K panel would be. If you're used to a high-resolution display for photo editing or detailed UI work, you might notice a slight softness in fine text or tiny UI elements. For most gamers and office tasks, though, the difference isn't a deal-breaker. The immersive experience outweighs the modest drop in sharpness. Because of the size and the curve, you'll need a fairly spacious desk, ideally one that can accommodate a monitor that spans almost 4 feet. If you're working from a cramped laptop table or a small apartment desk, you'll either have to sacrifice valuable legroom or look for a wall mount solution, which can get pricey. Also, to truly benefit from the high refresh rate and the wide field of view, you'll need a graphics card that can push a decent frame rate at the native resolution. Mid-range GPUs can handle many games at 1080p, but if you want to max out settings in newer titles, you might find yourself upgrading sooner rather than later. Who should consider buying this monitor? If you're a serious gamer who already enjoys titles that support ultra-wide formats, or if you spend a lot of time in applications where horizontal space translates directly into productivity like video editing, coding, or stock trading, this display is a solid investment. It also makes sense for anyone who wants to consolidate a dual monitor setup into a single piece of hardware, reducing cable clutter and desk footprint. The immersive curve and high refresh rate.